Hello, everyone. This is Lenard Guzman here with Emily Robinson on the Life After the podcast. We're here on February 1st, 2021, the early hopes of normalcy here in, California. And so here we are, Emily. What's new with divorce? What's new with you in the last week?
Not much new with me, enjoying the rain and really liking the Zoom hearings. I don't have to leave my office. It's so nice. Just like I get way more done every day. So maybe that's something that could stick around you know, after COVID. It really makes life a lot easier, I will say.
Yeah, it's the weirdest thing. Like we're getting accustomed to Zoom. Like I just gotta get like a background of a coffee shop, a sweater, and then like sweatpants. I mean, this is something like with yeah. I think we can get used to. I think meetings, right? Like court is all um virtual. Whether you're like, I'm sure you have consultations on like Zoom and
Yeah.
um.
All my I haven't I've met maybe a handful of people in person in the last year. I do it all by Zoom, phone. It's really crazy. LA, I still go to court a lot because they don't have Zoom, they only have phone, and sometimes you need the visual, but um Ventura all Zoom, and it's just amazing. Like there's less traffic. I don't know. I can get to my office at 8:15 and be ready to go. It's really nice. I will say that is something that if that could stick around, I'd be happy.
Yeah, how are you gonna go back to what it was? It's like it's so good as it is. Like some things, like I think, like post COVID, pre COVID, it's gonna be weird because people aren't gonna like. I don't want to go get on the LA
I
freeway.
actually think a lot of companies are going to realize that they don't need to spend so much on office space. It's like so expensive when it works to work from home, at least significantly. And I think that it's probably going to change. And there's so much less pollution. I mean, it's been good in a lot of ways, less traffic, less car accidents. But you know what I did hear on the radio actually, that even though there's less traffic, the percentage of car accidents, like to cars on the road, is much higher because people are driving so much faster because they aren't like worried about the traffic and there's no bumper to bumper. So that part's not good.
Yeah, I'm more scared to be on the freeway. That's a good point. Like people are, I think, like I'm a slow driver, and it's just weird. People are like they're just driving faster. So I don't know. Maybe some things change, some things don't. But the things that don't change is people are still getting divorces. And with that, let's get into the news. The start of the month, February 1st. I don't know things. I feel like every month, like when it starts, there's like optimism. So we'll see. Let's see what's in the news here. So Wendy Williams, she's I don't my wife used to watch her show, the Wendy Williams show. So I kind of know her, and
She's
she's in the
interesting.
news.
She always has a different wig.
Okay, well they're all nice. They're all she's got them. She's got the best ones. So
And she was on The
Wendy.
Masked Singer, which I like that show.
Oh, okay. So Wendy Williams says she wanted a divorce from her ex-husband Kevin Hunter after 2 years into their 21-year marriage. Wendy Williams spoke to the Insider ahead of her new biopic, Wendy Williams, the movie premiering Saturday. The mogul revealed she knew she wanted a divorce from ex-husband Kevin Hunter after her second year of marriage. Kevin was a serial cheat. He cheated when I dated him. He cheated when I married him. She said for the past 35 years, Wendy Williams has taken the media world by storm. Now, Williams is letting fans into her hot topic filled life in her new biopic, Wendy Williams, the movie, premiering Saturday night, followed by her documentary, What a Mess. In both projects, a 56-year-old media mogul bears it all, sharing personal struggles that she's faced throughout her life. While her marriage began to publicly unravel several years ago due to alleged infidelity and abuse, Williams told Insider that privately she had been executing her divorce plans for nearly 2 decades. The two wedded in 1997. When asked at what point in her 20-year-old marriage she felt like her happiness had become compromised, Williams empathetically said the second year, because that's when I finally got successfully pregnant with my son, young Kevin, and gave birth to him. Williams, so we skip down. Williams, who finalized her divorce from Hunter in 2019, claimed her ex cheated because he got too comfortable. Because despite problems at home, Williams said she made a conscious decision to stay because of her now 20-year-old son, Kevin Hunter Jr. So is this common where women or spouses stay in marriages where they're like just miserable, but they do it for their kids?
So that's very common. I mean, I have to say, I don't know why she said he cheated when she was dating him. Why does she think he's not going to cheat when she marries him? But that happens a lot too. But yes, it is common that people stay in their marriages for their children because they don't want to disrupt their children's lives. It's scary to raise children alone. There's just, once you have children, I think there's a lot of factors that go into it, much more than just about the cheating and the relationship between the two of you. I mean, obviously that's important too, but a lot of people do have concerns about raising their children in two separate households. A lot of people also who don't trust their spouses, they have issues with getting divorced because they know they can protect their kids when at least they're there under the same roof with the spouse. But what if that spouse has the kids on their own? That might, then you don't have the control anymore. Then you can't protect the kids anymore. So I think a lot of people stay for that reason too.
Okay. The next article we have is from New York Times. Manage your divorce expectations. Our routines may have stalled during COVID, but the desire to divorce certainly hasn't. Here's some pandemic age challenges to consider. I feel like with COVID, like things sped up, like the world like fast forwarded 10 years with like technology, or even if you're thinking of a divorce, it like fast forwarded it like to like now. So this article goes about let's see, when the New York divorce courts reopened in June after nearly 3-month closure, the lawyer Nancy Kemptop said she began waking up at 3 a.m. to handle all of the clients who wanted out of marriages, and the calls and texts didn't let up between Thanksgiving and New Year's, traditionally a slow period in the divorce business, as people would hang on for year-end bonuses or the family vacation before filing. There was nothing to wait for anymore, said Ms. Kemptop, who represented the designer Mary Kate Olsen in her pandemic divorce from the French banker Olivier Sarkozy. The coronavirus has inspired what seems to be a surge of divorces in the U.S., a pattern also seen in China, Britain, and Sweden. There are expected reasons such as increased domestic pressure and upended routines that may have once masked marriage problems. And there are the less obvious ones, like the breadwinning spouse who toyed with the idea of divorce, now moving fast forward because it makes financial sense. The new minefields to navigate. The pandemic hasn't just heightened the tensions in marriages, it's also heightened the tensions in divorces, changing everything from how long a divorce can drag on to how parties appear before the court. Virtual backgrounds are frowned upon because a judge needs to be able to see who else might be in the room, and how they consult with therapists, lawyers, real estate agents, because there's no private, there's so little privacy with everyone at home. Let's see what else. The COVID divorces are on the slow track. Divorce has often been time consuming and expensive. One survey in the US found the average cost was $12,900, but now once routine parts of the proceedings, like getting a document notarized, can require heroic effort. Moving out is also fraught, especially in LA and parts of Connecticut and New Jersey, where real estate prices have risen. You may have one spouse wanting to keep the house, but unable to afford to buy the other out. Delays can be more costly. In addition to the mental toll, the waiting game, coronavirus related delays can also add to the bill. So many documents. Then there's the document notarizing, something once so simple a lawyer can do it while waiting with a client at court. Now, if clients don't want to do in person, requires at least in some states some video calls along with the documents being sent back and forth via snail mail or delivery services. It took us an hour and a half to get to the court, to get the document to court, and actually the hearing was 10 minutes. Settling is more attractive than ever. Further complicating things is how difficult it can be to get on a judge's calendar for a non-urgent matter. Issues like domestic violence take priority because the backlogs in many courts, the video conference appointments in some states mean that judges are able to get through fewer cases than when everyone crowded into the courtroom and cases went one after another. On a recent online settlement conference, a judge told Mr. Jewell, if you think you're going to have your motion served anytime soon, let me show you the back of my courtroom. The chairs where people would normally sit were all filled with stacks of motions, Mr. Jewell said. So yeah, let's stop there and then continue. Let's get some of your feedback. This is a long article.
Wow. Well, that's a lot. Yeah. I mean, I do think it's true that, people were waiting and now there's nothing to wait for, because this has been now almost a year of being stuck at home and lockdowns cycling in and out. So I think people just sort of tried to resume to normal life as much as possible and to get things moving. I mean, there's so much backup in the courts. There's so many problems that have been caused by the shutdowns. I think people are just of the general consensus that we can't wait anymore. We don't know how long it's going to be until, we can resume regular life. People are starting to get vaccinated, but it's only, a certain population, which is great, but who knows when the rest of us will be. And so we've just got to keep moving forward and resume normal life as much as possible. We can't be on hold anymore. And I think people are feeling that way.
Okay, the last point of this article was there are hearing dates for sale. The renewed emphasis on settling has prompted a surge in the use of private judges, at least for those who could afford it. These judges, often retired from the bench, can cost $800 an hour, and one in Los Angeles who charged $20,000 a day is booked for months. And said Daniel Jaffe, Los Angeles divorce attorney for the wealthy for more than 50 years. The appeal is that clients can control the schedule and be heard by a judge who doesn't have the pressure of other cases on the docket.
That is true. I mean, private judges have always been used, and it usually is the more wealthy people because they are so expensive. But yes, this has also caused an increase of private judging because you can get in there much quicker than you can into the regular courthouse.
Whew, we've covered a lot of topics in the last, in 2 minutes. Okay, and so now we're going to move to the part of the show where it's called Dear Emily, where people post things online, and Emily gives tips and advice. People post things, whether it's about mental health, maybe starting their process in the divorce, proceedings. things come up like alimony, child custody. So let's see what we got today. Okay. So the first one is choosing kindness during divorce. This is a mental health post. Today, my soon-to-be ex-husband told me that the reason he's been eating so much fast food every day is because he doesn't know how to cook anymore after 10 years of me cooking for all the 3 meals of the day. I wanted to be petty and mean. He took me for granted in our marriage, and I wanted to ask him if he had changed now that we've been separated and living apart for 5 months. Instead, I gave him some of the recipes that I remembered him liking that weren't too difficult, and it felt so good. I realized it doesn't matter if he takes me for granted or feels sorry for treating me the way he did. It's in the past. I can't change any of what happened. Anything that happened, all I control is my own life choice, and I have to believe that choosing kindness is the best way to bring happiness in my life. Divorce feels so much like a battle some days, but I encourage everyone to choose kindness in the little moments you can, if only for that little boost of serotonin.
That's really nice. I love that. I think it's so great that it's an example of people still trying to be friends after the relationship is over, and realizing that, just because the marriage didn't work, it doesn't mean you have to hate each other or be nasty to each other. And just, helping them like you'd help any other friend or human that you see needs help.
Okay, here's another mental health one. Letting go. Today's the first day when for a couple hours I didn't feel anything towards my husband. Before, most of the time I felt anger. He rejected me, ignored me in sadness, a strong, desperate sadness, not letting go, at peace, or fear, or hope. Maybe we can get back together today. For a couple hours, I was at peace. It's been 6 months since a crazy roller coaster started, and 3 months since we started talking about separation and divorce seriously. I wanted to try, and he didn't take on my offer, and it resulted in some roller coaster emotions for me. But I was one trying to make it work. It was one-sided because I was the only one interested. How should I go about it?
Well, I think that's a tough one. I mean, I think a lot of people do feel like, it's one-sided. And I think that leads to a lot of hurt and pain. And it's hard to get over that when you feel like you've put everything that you have into it and the other person just didn't reciprocate or didn't have the same emotions about it. Um, but I think like realizing that is really important, and being able to move on from that is really important, and being able to, still feel that you have self-worth, and that you got to find a way to remember your own self-worth. Even when you feel like you've given everything to somebody and they haven't accepted it, someone else will accept it. So you gotta figure out what you need to do to keep your self-worth important to you, and to realize that you have it. And that might be therapy, that might be group meetings, but whatever it is, it's really important.
Okay, the next post, this person's getting started. Anyone file in their mid-40s? I'm a 45-year-old woman and just starting out. We just decided to separate after my husband will not work on our dead bedroom of 18 years. It's sex maybe once to 3 times a year if I initiate. I have friends telling me not to divorce over sex, but I've been deprived for so long and I feel like I'm losing myself. It hurts that he doesn't care at all, nor does he try. When I said we were heading to divorce, he just said that you just can't have everything in life, and we're older, and now it's a bad idea to split. We both woke and made similar okay, so we both work and make similar salaries, but he gets stock options and I work for the state. I'm stuck on being 45, having to move out of a new home. We bought less than 2 years ago, and also just now so angry over his neglect over the issue. I've had his lack of affection and intimacy. His life, his language is more towards providing abs, giving our family security in life. That's great, but that's not what I value or need. I'm sad and feel guilty for ending up this way. Last night, he basically told me to get someone on his side or on the side because on the side, he can't stand my tears over this issue. And then finally said, let's separate.
Wow. Well, there's clearly a lot going on there. I would think maybe marriage counseling might be able to help because that sounds like there's a lot of issues. But yeah, that's tough. But she should not feel guilty if your, emotional and physical needs aren't being met in your marriage, then that's an issue. And if the person won't work with you to resolve it, you should not feel guilty if you want to move on. Marriage is a partnership and it's about what both people need, not just one person. And if he won't be respectful of what she needs or making her feel loved, then she's doing the right thing and she shouldn't feel guilty. And 45 is not old. She has plenty of time to start a new life.
I think like 40s now in like 2021, it's like it's different from like when my dad was like in his 40s. Like I remember writing a card like "Happy Birthday, Dad," and he was 36, and like I think an 8-year-old, you're like, oh my God, my dad's so old. Like, so it's relative, right?
It is. And 40 is like the new 30 because people are living so much longer now, and people aren't having kids till so much later. So in the old days, when you're in your 40s, your kids are probably like teenagers, but now a lot of people are just having babies in their 40s.
Yeah. So yeah, it's not too old. Start over, live longer, eat better, exercise. I don't know. Okay, so that's all the time we have for today. Emily, do you have any? We've talked a lot today. Any?
Stay healthy, and remember, if you're not happy, you're not trapped forever. You can go to counseling. You can try to work on your marriage, and if it doesn't work, you always can divorce ultimately, but you don't have to sacrifice and feel guilty because it's not working out for you. There are ways to address it, and you need to keep yourself on the top of your importance list.
Yeah, it's always, I guess, and compromising. Like my wife and I, like the Super Bowl's coming up. I'll watch the game and then she'll go away and then call her at halftime. I don't know who's performing this year, but it works.
I knew, and now I forgot. I remember hearing it, and now I totally forgot who it was. Who was it? It was somebody big.
I think it's The Weeknd. I think I just saw a commercial. I was going to say Drake, but I think it's The Weeknd. So, yeah. So do you have a Super Bowl pick?
I don't know. I typically have to go with Tom Brady.
You can't bet against Tom Brady. So
nope, you can't.
Yeah,
what about you?
Okay. I'm picking KC. I jumped on the Mahomes bandwagon. So I just want a good game. Like I'm gonna get snacks and just waste. I don't know. Like what was it, like 5-hour game? I just want a good game. So
since nobody can come over and hang out with you, you get all the snacks and beer to yourself, right?
There you go. So I'm gonna get the good stuff because I don't have to share it. So
right?
Yeah. So we'll see who's right next week because I got KC and then you got Tampa Bay. So we'll come back next week and
what do we win if we win?
Let's see. We will bet.
How about
Coffee. Okay, go.
coffee? Yeah, no, I was gonna say, but it has to be like virtual coffee. So
Okay.
virtual,
All right. Well,
virtual coffee on me or you.
okay. A latte. We'll bid a latte. We'll figure
That
out.
works.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
miss when
So.
you used to get to bring me the coffee bean lattes when we filmed in person. Coffee bean
Yeah.
latte. There you go.
Okay. There we go.
All
Okay. So
right.
we made our bets. Hopefully everyone tunes in next week to see who won the bet,
Right.
and more on the Life After D podcast next week. All right,
All
guys.
right.